What's going on? Alex here, and today I'm going to talk about a situation that's affecting a whole lot of taxpayers related to tax year 2019. And the situation is that they filed their tax returns, they paid their taxes, and they just received a form CP14 from the IRS demanding payment of the amount that you already paid plus penalties and interest. What's going on? I found one of these questions. There's a lot of them, so this is a fairly common situation, and it reads as follows. My girlfriend got a notice in the mail saying she owes $9,000 in federal taxes when she already paid the $9,000 by check on July 1st. It says, my girlfriend received a notice in the mail today that she owes for federal income tax when she already paid the money and it was taken out of her account by the IRS a few days after she paid. She went back and double-checked her bank statements and it was for sure taken out of her account. Has anyone else had this happen? There's also late penalties added onto the amount they're saying she owes when she already paid them and they have the money. Is this due to the due date for taxes being pushed back? So, this is very common for tax year 2019, and there's a lot of taxpayers being affected by this. What seems to have happened was that based on the delays related to COVID-19, all of the people working from home, all of the mail piling up at the IRS, and so forth, what it looks like it happened was they received the payments, they took the money out of people's accounts, but they did not apply those payments to their IRS account, and the IRS computers then sent out a notice asking for the same amount that was already paid and taken out of the bank account, plus penalties and interest. All right? So that's really the situation that's happening, and it looks like in many cases the amounts were indeed paid. There's evidence in terms of bank statements, canceled checks, and so forth, but the application was never made to the taxpayer's individual account as far as the IRS goes. And this is affecting, I would say, at least thousands of maybe millions of taxpayers. There really aren't any news outlets talking about this right now, but it is happening, and I'm getting more and more reports of this. So what do you do? Now, the good news is that if you already paid your taxes and you have documentation that you did, then this notice in many cases is probably not applicable, all right? And what I expect is the IRS is going to go through their backlog and then possibly send updated notices saying, hey, by the way, you should disregard that notice. You don't owe any balance, no penalties and interest, and so forth, and it'll work itself out that way. That's what I believe will happen. But in the meantime, if you receive a CP14, if you receive one of these notices, asking for amounts that you already paid with penalties and interest, you may want to call the IRS at 800-829-1040 to ask about your specific account and just to make sure that it gets cleared up. Because if there is an actual payment issue related to your account, it may not be due to this specific problem that they're having right now. It may be a different issue, and you don't want to miss it because you just believe that it all falls into the same bucket. All right? So at this point, if you paid, let's say, the $9,000 in taxes and you receive a notice asking for that $9,000 again, don't pay it again. That's going to create even more hassles. And paying the IRS is easy, but getting money back from them is very difficult. So don't make the payment again. Don't pay the taxes, penalties, and interest since you already paid the taxes. All right? Wait for the situation to resolve itself. Follow up with the IRS at 800-829-1040 to make sure that this all gets cleared up. And maybe you don't attack them all on August 21st. Wait a little while, maybe till the end of August, till the beginning or mid-September for them to catch up. Apply these payments to taxpayers' accounts and then be able to advise accordingly. Because if you call them right now, I have a feeling that they're not going to be able to tell you anything because the payments haven't yet been applied. You got to think of the backlog. The IRS was closed for a while in terms of people working from home and due to COVID and all of that. So everything's piled up. Now they're working through the backlog, and this is why taxpayers are getting notices. And just here is a different posting here. If you got a new CP14 notice from the IRS but already paid, you can disregard. So this individual is kind of spelling out that even if you paid the amounts months earlier, you may still get the notice. All right. So this is for tax year 2019. You filed the tax return, you paid the taxes, and you got the penalty notice for the amount due plus the penalties and interest. Most likely, most taxpayers will be able to disregard it, but don't just take that advice wholesale. Make sure you follow up on your particular account. Make sure it gets cleared up. And the more documentation you have in terms of canceled checks and bank statements, the better, because that's going to allow you to challenge this if the IRS does push the penalties and interest and they don't send out a notice kind of correcting everything and letting taxpayers know that they have no balance due for 2019. So as always, hopefully this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I love reading your comments, and hit that bell icon to be notified of future videos, because there definitely will be many. All right. As always, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching.